G'day, how are we going today? So today we're going to do a brand new lesson that we've come up with, or that I've come up with. I had a bit of a chat with Shane the other day about mechanics we could use for this. And I'm actually really excited to sit down and have a bit of a play and have a bit of a go around. So that's what pretty much we're going to do today. I have a plan. Let me just get my webcam only, if I can get it to work. I have a plan. It looks something like that. That's really weird what the camera's doing there. Yeah, I have a plan that looks something like that. So that's the plan moving forward. So now we pretty much start a new world, and I'm going to start in creative so that we can see how we get on and just see what's happening. I'm trying to kick play on OBS and it's not working. So new, brand new world, and I'm actually going to start in, go back, blocks of grass for now. Creative peaceful should work. Cheats are active. Yep. Okay. Actually, I want perfect weather as well. I don't want mobs. Right. Let's start there. I've been playing with skins. That's why I look like that. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the texture pack on. And you can't do that once you're in. Okay. Oops. So this is sort of semi-based on, probably should rename it so that I actually know what I'm working on. Resource packs, animal cell. So the idea here, do they still? Yeah, they do. Okay, good. So we've got different locations that we're going to be working in, and one is the nucleus, which is that, so brown wool. One is the ribosome, which is black wool. Where's black wool? Black wool. So that's the ribosome. The other is the ER, which is red glass. And then you've got the Golgi, which is one of the wools. Lime wool, I'm pretty sure. Nucleus, ribosome, ER, and Golgi. Right. So we start in the nucleus. So this is just a placeholder for now so that we know where we are. Right. We're going to have to take something out of the nucleus and put that here in the ribosome. Right. And then from the ribosome, we're going to be taking a polypeptide chain or a protein or whatever you want to call it. Into the ER. And then we're also going to have to take something out of that and into the Golgi. Right. So now down to the mechanics. This is a game. All right. The whole idea behind this is that this is a game. So what we want to be able to do, and there's a couple of ideas here around how we can do this. And this is why I was having a chat there with Shane yesterday, because I was thinking initially that we could use furnaces to do stuff. So how can I explain this? So we go and we get some logs. What are they called if they're not logs? It's just wood. Oak wood. There you go. Learned something new. So essentially we would reskin the wood as sugar, right? And then we would use reskin charcoal, which I can't put back in there, reskin charcoal as ATP. So ATP being the energy required by the cell, right? So that's one idea. And then the students have to get more sugar, and they only get that once they put the stuff in there, which they get from here and here and here and here, and they've got to balance the energy use around the cell, essentially. So they've got to keep two processes going here, take the products of one of those processes and put it over there, take the products of that, which I'm still thinking there'll be 4 different products. Some will have to come back here, some will go there, some will go there. Yeah, all right. So that was one idea I had, and then I started thinking, well, what if we went down the brewing path? Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. The advantages of having family is phone calls. So yeah, where were we? We were talking about brewing stands, and that blaze powder could be the ATP driving the cellular processes, which is the brewing of potions. So I had some ideas around, and I can't remember where I wrote it, but I wrote it somewhere. Blaze powder is the ATP, nether wart is the RNA polymerase, so the thing that's creating the RNA. Water bottle is the DNA, and then you combine them in here to create an awkward potion. So let's actually get on the right screen. So let's grab some blaze powder, some nether wart, some water bottles. Right. So the idea being that students have got the ATP. Okay, they put that in there, and that's what's driving the cellular process. So they would have to keep getting this ATP, and that would come out of the mitochondria, which isn't in here. We need the mitochondria. No, it's another wool. That's that one. I knew I was forgetting one. So there's a mitochondria here as well. Ooh. Right. So mitochondria. So the ATP, the blaze powder, actually comes out of the mitochondria. Okay, and then students have to put the DNA, for this particular case, this would be rebadged as DNA, and then RNA polymerase, right? And then they would have to wait for that process to finish. And what they get at the end of that is essentially a polypeptide chain. No, is mRNA. Sorry, mRNA. And then they take that mRNA, so this is in the nucleus, so they take that mRNA over here, and they put that mRNA in, as well as ATP, so they need more blaze powder over here. Probably shouldn't have put it all in the one. So blaze powder. Alright, so they're getting awkward potions out of that. Alright, they put the blaze powder and the awkward potions in, and then we start down the process of, okay, well, let's make a different potion. So let's have a look at potions. You know, let's have a look at something. What's the recipes? Think about it. So strength is more blaze powder, so that's not going to work. Healing is, what's that? Glistering melons. Right, so they bring it over here, and this is rebadged as, what's it rebadged as? Item in the ribosome to create the splash potion. Right, and they do this. So that's mRNA, and they're doing something with the mRNA using ATP to create the next step, basically. And that next step, hopefully, is a healing potion of some sort. Yeah, right, okay. So then they take the polypeptide chain from here, put it over in here, and then it becomes a working protein in this particular instance. So then they can add up to sort of 3 or 4 different things. So there might be 5 different stations as such. Some of that, and I've used all my blaze powder again. So let's grab some more. This time, oh, wrong button. This time I'm not going to put it all in. Right, so let's stock all of these. So they've got to give ATP to all of these different protein productions, because this is where the proteins get finalized. Okay, so then they've got the healing potion, and then we can make, so realistically we can only make 2 from that initial polypeptide chain. So we've made this one, we can make that one, we can make that one. Now these are the same skin, so realistically I can only make 2 different proteins out of that. So we may need, if we're going to go down this path, a plan which has the awkward potion in here and then making something else. So let's get them out of there. Let's make, let's have another look at potions. Strength, no, we'd already decided strength wasn't any good. Night vision is carrots. Night vision might work. Alright, so let's get golden carrots. So we reskin golden carrots as a different process. So we put them in there. Alright, and that should produce a night vision potion, which would then give us the 4 different products we want. So we've got night vision as the start, and then a splash, and then a lingering. So then we have two. Am I making any sense here? Please, someone who's watching, tell me that I'm making sense. So we go with ATP creating mRNA here, but we also need this to create DNA. So that's just creating awkward potions, which is our RNA. I need a way of making that think, yeah. Right, and then we bring that polypeptide chain. I suppose it doesn't matter, the mRNA does. I suppose I don't probably need 2 different mRNAs. Scientifically I do, but conceptually I probably don't. So we bring them over here and we put them in here. We get our 2 different protein setups. We take them over here and we finalize those different protein setups in here. So we would convert this to a splash potion and a lingering potion. So we only need 4 because we've got the 4 different products. So I wish I could copy them. You can do that in Java by middle clicking. So we take this. I'm going to need more. Actually, let's get 6 of them out of there. 3 in there, 2, 3 in there, and you're an extra. And then we get healing 2, 4, 5 should cut us. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then we take them and we make this one a splash potion by adding in, and students wouldn't need to add this bit in, they just throw the protein in here and the ribosome does the work. So on top of this we would have a hopper. I'm pretty sure you can do it on top. That is feeding in gunpowder, so the students don't see this, but it just automatically feeds in, and in theory that's then converting that potion. Dang it, I've messed up that one. Don't. Phew. That should... Ooh. Clicking all the right buttons here today. I've been unwell. Is that a good excuse? And I'm pretty sure if I could spell Dragon's Breath, it's Dragon's Breath to create a lingering potion. No. How to create a lingering potion? I thought it was Dragon's Breath. Google. Okay, so you got to already put it on a lingering potion. So how do you make an initial lingering potion then? Oh, it's got to be a splash potion before you can do it. Now that is intriguing. So if I took one of you, put you in there, now that's intriguing. It's got to be a splash potion before you can do it. So that sort of ruins the idea around having that. Unless we use 4 different potions. So back here we have 4 different setups. And another phone call coming through. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, and we're back again. I'm never this popular. So I guess we could have 1 to 4 to 4 here rather than trying to do the lingering potion thing. If they've already got to be a splash potion, then it means... What does that mean? It means they've got to have gone through 2 steps before now. So it doesn't make sense unless we have one process. Scientifically speaking, we have one process for creating the initial RNA and then a second process for creating the messenger RNA, which is then sent to the ribosome, and then it just becomes lingering potions here. So that doesn't help. No, it does. No, it does, because you got awkward. I'm going to get signs. See, let's write awkward to get signs. Good idea. That's working well, Stephen. Okay. So this is water to awkward with a Q, apparently. Water to awkward. This is awkward to, I suppose it could be any number of things if it's mRNA. This makes more scientific sense, to 4 different mRNAs. Right? Those 4 different mRNAs, so you're actually going to need 4. So those 4 different mRNAs then get sent to the ribosome here to create 4 different polypeptide chains. So mRNAs to 4 poly, without the space, pep chains. Right, those 4 polypeptide chains. No, you're doing this wrong, Stephen. 4 different mRNAs is wrong. So this is awkward to 4 diff potions. Alright, you're supposed to be doing this, not the scientific side, but the Minecraft side. And this is 4 diff potions to 4 splash potions, right, which become almost ready proteins, and some of them could even be final proteins. Some of them probably don't need to go all the way over there in reality. Then here we need to knock you 2 out because you 2 are now wrong. Alright, and this is, so let's just go with 2 splash to 2 lingering. Right, so that means 2 of these 2 splash are final, because not all proteins go to the R for finalization, so that scientifically makes sense. So 2 splash are finals, and then there are 2 finals, 2 lingering finals, right? And then some of that, so we've got 4 products. 1 is DNA polymerase, so 1 goes back to here. 1 lingering goes here, right, in the nucleus for DNA production. Let's 1 lingering for DNA synthesis, right? And then 1 needs to go here, 1 splash for RNA synthesis, right? And then here we need 1 for protein, 1, let's call it lingering for protein synthesis, right? That leaves us with 1, which doesn't necessarily go there because that doesn't, let's say that doesn't need it. And then this is the Golgi, one lingering for export. Or is that a splash? Yeah, that's a splash. One splash for export. All right, and that export then brings in more blaze powder for the students to use. Okay, so that's using potions. Furnaces, yeah, I'm not sold on the furnace side of things. All right, so that's using potions. We have a setup for that. And then, so that was where my thinking was. And then I thought, well, I really like this idea, wait time, blaze powder. How do you simulate the breaking down of glucose into blaze powder? And you don't necessarily have to, because the protein you give the Golgi for export from the cell, or do you need to give a protein? We probably need to give something to the mitochondria. All right, something needs to come here, and then this produces the ATP. Which is, of course, blaze powder, which drives everything. So this setup with the hoppers, yeah, so that's one theory, okay? Now if we clear my inventory completely and we go back to the idea of what Shane was suggesting, is that what if the redstone was the ATP? Is there a way that we can make that disappear? And then I got thinking about, oh dang it, I hate that it does that. Again, used to building in Java, it goes to the next empty slot. I thought, okay, so there are ways to stop flying. Create hopper clocks. Right, that then allow things to be timed. So if I put, oh, wrong button there. If I put a redstone block here to provide power to the nucleus for doing its cellular processes, whether that's, you know, there'll be two spots, one for DNA synthesis and one for RNA synthesis, right? And then that starts this timer essentially, and then once that timer finishes, then it resets that block to basically off. So students have to replace that block. So essentially the same path happens. Students need to give energy for DNA synthesis, right? They need to give energy for RNA synthesis, and then they'll be given products for RNA synthesis. There will be an output chest as such provided there, and then they will come over here and provide power for protein synthesis, and then they will get the 4 different proteins, or I mean, I can make it any number now because I want to put one back there, so it could be 5 different proteins, or as many different proteins as I want, and then they need to find out where they go and put them in the appropriate location. So basically then they need to take some of those proteins here for finalization, so they go and throw them in a hopper, and provide energy again. Provide energy and throw something, whether it's potions or whether it's whatever, put it in a hopper. Once the timer runs out, they get their product, their finalized proteins, some of which will go into these various locations here. All right, so that's the theory, and I kind of think that's neater and easier, particularly on my part as the map creator. I think that's a lot easier to manage in terms of the technology available to us, for lack of a better way of saying it. That should be a lot easier. So now I've got to remember how to make a hopper clock work. I need comparators. I'm going to need some redstone. I'm going to need some sticky piston. No, just normal piston I think will do us. It's something like this. Alright, and then if we throw 64 items in there, is this doing what I want it to do? Probably shouldn't have gone with 64, it's probably a bit long. So it is. Not exactly what I thought it would do. Oh, not exactly what I thought it would do at all. It's about strength. Hey, now that's neat. I didn't know that happened. Hang on a minute. What is actually happening there? That's interesting. Anyway, I've done that wrong because it's not doing what it should be doing. Because what it should be doing is locking the hopper. Do they do it on top now? I'm going to have to look it up. Google hopper clock. Into a block. That's my mistake. So that comparator goes into a block. Stop. Right. Let's try that again now. So if we put the redstone block here, we'll put 64 pistons in. So that's not going to send back, in theory, until it's empty. That's better. So that's how I could set the timer, right? So let's say that then of course this will have to be a fair distance away so that it doesn't annoy kids. So this line here will trigger any time that hopper is there. Right. So depending on the amount of time, which is based on the number of items that is in this hopper clock here, that will determine how often that triggers. So I can make some of these trigger really quickly. So let's settings. Why isn't it show coordinates on? Alright, so let's say for this clock to run I need to place, I need a pen and a piece of paper, which I have right here. So 21, that pen doesn't work. Let's get a pen that works. 21 for -10. Well, right. So we can have a command block sitting here, which is, let's get the syntax right, test for block 21 for -10, redstone block. I'm pretty sure we need a 0 there. Alright, so now we've got that syntax right, copy that, put it in here. Make you a repeat and always active. Right? So it found it. Doesn't find it. Does find it, right? So that's how we can determine when students have placed it. So from there, I then want chain, conditional, I don't know, to, I wonder, can it do that without wrecking? So let's just take, hey, why is there so many more? Interesting. How am I going to do that? What if I had it like that? Let's say 16 of them in. Ooh. That was unexpected. Okay. So what I was hoping to do was actually start that clock by throwing the redstone block down. Now I can't think of an easy way to do that without, do you know what I mean? How can I have my hopper clock sitting there, patiently waiting? Easy. Put you there, put you there. Right, and then we change that block to air. So if we put our 16 pistons in, now I'm at 25 meg 13. Right, so it starts slash set block. Yep. Now let's do it right. So nope. Set block 25 negative 13. So I want to set that to air. Do I need a 0 there? I probably do. And replace. It shouldn't have done that. Why did you do that? Because I typed it, you fool. Yeah, being sick yesterday has really knocked me for 6. Right, so that hopper clock has stopped. Alright, the great thing about that hopper clock is it can be anywhere. It can be miles away, so the students don't have to hear the noise. So in theory, when I do that, that should have done it. Dang it. That did it. Alright. So if I place a block here, it gets rid of that. Alright, and then once that timer runs, right, then it would set off a command block. Oh, I didn't put it back, so let's put you back there. Now that's interesting. Why are you still running? That's weird. Anyway, in this one is a set block 21 4 negative 10 air 0 replace. Right? So in theory, the clock is now running. And that stops the clock running, only it hasn't placed the block back there. So I also need to have you as set block 25 negative 13 redstone underscore block 0 replace. Right, so that disappears the block, timer goes. Destroyed that but didn't destroy that. Let's put that back there for a second. If I grab you, that was shift, I need to control pick to put you there. Get rid of you. Okay, so right, bingo. So that's the basic mechanic. So students have to provide this ATP, this redstone block, right, to a particular organelle. That then is used for a process and then produces products after a certain amount of time, and the ATP is used up, right? So now it's a matter of what I want it to be. So I don't want to give players, I want to clone a chest. Okay, so somewhere over here I'm going to have a chest. Right, which is at chest at 22 4 neg 16. Okay, so in that chest is going to be their mRNA. So what's all their RNA? Yeah, their mRNA. So they need to put energy in for DNA synthesis, and that's just something that needs to happen and will be a consistent clock, basically. So they'll have to keep placing that every, say, 30 seconds or whatever, and then every 20 seconds they can come back and place a new redstone block to get mRNA. And the mRNA they get could be random. Sorry, thinking. Because you can set up random item give type things. What if you can summon an entity? But you can't summon a dropped item. I don't think. So the idea is that chest gets placed here, gets cloned to this location here. So I want to clone to 24 negative 10. Right, so this chest, when this gets triggered, it should be right. So if we get the clone 22 4 negative 16, 22 4 negative 16 to 24, negative 10. And we just go replace, I think. And then force. Right, that clone that block over to there. Okay, so let's try that again. That's facing the right way at least. Right, so that command I just typed needs to go in here. Right, then in here they have proteins. No, RNA, mRNA, and maybe 4 different types. Right, so the other thing I need, and that can go here maybe. I want you to be chain conditional always active. And you are a set block (24, negative 10) to air 0 replace. Right, so now in theory I placed that, didn't do it. Because it's facing down. I placed it the wrong way, that's all. Okay. Nope. Right, so now it's facing the right way. So if we set block is what we want to do, 24, negative 10 to air 0 replace. And you need to be a chain conditional always active. Go. Chain conditional always active. So that's the same in theory now. So good. So that gets rid of that chest. And once the timer runs out, the chest didn't come back. Why? Hey, what's happening? Placed it that time, but not the time before. That was odd. And it still didn't place this. Syntax error unexpected. 22, 4, 16, 22, 4, 16, 24, negative 10, replace, force. So that worked. So is it just not getting the power there? I thought it would. Okay. New plan, that's a repeater. So if we control pick you, put you there, you should now fire up all those 3. Place you. Right, and my proteins get dumped on the ground, my mRNA gets dumped on the ground. Why didn't the chest stay? I don't want them dumped on the ground. That being there is what's causing the issue, I reckon. So if we... Interesting. I think it's that. So I think we need to move control pick you here. Control pick you here. Control pick you here. Right, get rid of them from here. I think that is interfering. I think. Grab my protein, mRNA. It's got something to do with which one is running first, because these are still running. How can I do that? So what if it's all about now working out which one runs first. So that's all it comes back to now, I think. I think that's what's happening, is these commands see those commands are running, so the how can I explain this? My guess, right, is that this is setting the redstone block here. This is setting that one out there to air. And because of that one tick delay right there, this in that round sees it there again, and this process runs again. And in the next tick, it puts that block there and the chest there over here, but this destroys it again straight away. So I need to slow or speed up this. So is it as simple as having that there? Let's break the proteins out of the mRNA. I keep saying proteins. Right. Didn't do it at all. Okay. Right. Okay. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. So it runs twice. Why does it run twice? I don't want it to run twice. It's with the timing. I know what the issue is, I just have no idea how to fix it. Is it an issue? Yes. Why is it an issue? Because they get twice as many products as they should. And half of them get thrown on the ground. And I don't want that. Okay. So the issue is this here. I've never used this style of camera. I've only ever used those ones and these ones. I've never used these ones before. So do I cheat the system? Interesting that you've got one left. Okay, so I can't do that. But what's to stop me? This guy only triggers when this has been made. So what's to stop me grabbing you? Putting you there. Right, you're testing for the redstone block down there. And let's say you need redstone. Alright, so you're only going to be looking while that block is there. This sounds like a really good plan. Alright. Right. So you're always active. Right, so if we now get rid of you, it found it, but it's not doing anything else. Dang it. Alright, stop spamming me. I didn't click it right, so what are you? Nothing. What are you? 2410. That's the chest, so that's the top one, I reckon. Alright, so that's you. You. What if we made both of you conditional? I think it was. So you're setting 2410 to air, alright, which is the chest. You're testing for the redstone block. You need to set 2513 to air 0 replace, I'm pretty sure is your command. The block couldn't be replaced. So that works, except I've got something wrong here. 25, negative 13. Duh. Alright, kills the chest. Timer runs. As soon as the timer goes back, it should delete that. Winning. Right, so that's it. Forget you. This structure here is all we need. So what this means is that we can now set up multiple setups like this for each redstone block. Alright, and then so the students come, they throw down their redstone, they grab their proteins or mRNA, they run down here, they give the redstone and the proteins into a chest here, so there'll be a hopper under here, a chest here, they throw their proteins into here, their redstone, it'll take those, run another system like that, throw another chest down, say this side, so clone the chest to here, and so on and so forth. It's only taken us an hour. But that's a nice, neat little system. What's really neat about this section here, or at least these guys here, no, it's only this one, is I could use relative coordinates. I could just say look 2 below you, cleared, set the block 2 below you to air. So, alright. Okay, so now let's talk items. Okay, so the mitochondria needs to give redstone blocks. Okay, so the chest back here to be cloned, for example, wish you could, yeah. I missed my middle click. Alright, has to give out enough redstone to keep the cell going, and that's going to be where I need playtesting to happen, but I need to get all of the basics set up first and the distance between them and stuff like that. So that's going to give redstone based on them providing ATP synthase from here. So let's get rid of all these funny potion noises. Right, let's get rid of you two. Now let's clear. Right, so now we're clean and clear. Right, so this guy needs to give that based on them giving ATP synthase. So ATP synthase needs to be one of the items here. So ATP synthase mRNA. Right? They need to take that ATP synthase mRNA and throw it in here. So let's get an anvil. Throw an anvil down and start naming some items. Okay. So let's, because we could test for blocks too. So what blocks haven't I used? For lack of a better way of saying it. So ones that are simple and easy. So we could go, so let's say cobblestone. Let's rename plain old cobblestone to ATP synthase mRNA. Oh, not Rona, mRNA. Done. Right? So that's one product they need. Dang it. I'm pretty sure it's there. Alright, that's one product they need to get out of here. So they place that down, they get one ATP synthase mRNA. Okay. Now, that's going to have to go to here and get thrown in here. And then this is where it's going to get interesting, because those items, I hope there's room under here. Dang it, there's not. So So depending on what items the students throw in, there is a way that I can determine what they've put in by doing something along the lines of a hopper filter, right? So this is where it can get really, really intense for me as a map maker, but really, really cool for the kids, because if they can choose what to put in the system. Because what I'm thinking is we'll only do one interesting. If it only allowed them to do one protein production from every ATP they put in, they would really need to, rather than allowing them to do, say, 5, so bring all 5 of those items, just shove them in the chest and go. What if we nailed it down so they could only do 1? So they had to choose which one to put in. Or am I just overcomplicating things? So anyway, we could put in an ATP synthase in here and it'll disappear. Throw down our redstone, our ATP. I should probably rename these to ATP. Throw down our ATP and that will throw us back a different product. So that's the other thing we could do. We could actually, instead of putting a chest here, if we're going down the placeable item path, that one. If we're going down the placeable item path, I could put ATP synthase mRNA. Did I spell that wrong? Synthast. I did. I only just realised I could put down the ATP synthase mRNA here with the energy, and I could do the same thing I do there. They could just take both of them. Now we could have multiple ribosomes too. Right? So there are a couple of other mRNAs we need. So let's make it all placeable blocks. I like that idea. But they've got to be blocks that are placeable without the sides. And blocks I haven't already used. So we can go blue, light blue, cyan wool. Alright. So if we've got ATP, we know what it is. ATP synthase. We need DNA polymerase, not SNA, DNA polymerase. Right? So that's the product. We need RNA polymerase, which again is going to be the product, right? And those two need to be, so RNA polymerase would need to be placed here with the redstone. Right? And over here, DNA polymerase would also need to be placed with redstone. So I'm just going to do that. What if we did it on top? We'll sort that out later. But we've got to do, so this one just runs a cycle and they've got to keep DNA synthesis running. This one, you need RNA polymerase for this process to get this one out here. Right? So over here, this and this are products. Right? this is going to create the polypeptide chain. Then they're going to bring, my brain is melting. So let's say we're going to need DNA polymerase mRNA. Oop. Right? So that's also going to have to go in here. Okay. Then we're also going to need, let's go with green. Ooh. RNA polymerase mRNA. Alright, which is also going to have to go in here. Right. So that's DNA, RNA, ATP synthase. Where's my plan? It's upside down here. What else did I say we needed? DNA polymerase RNA. We need ribozymes and we need amylase for export. And that brings in more sugar. So in here, so we're going to need an amylase mRNA. Haven't used red wool yet, so let's grab some red wool. What was I saying? Amylase mRNA. So red wool. Amylase mRNA. Right, which is going to have to go in here. Alright, and amylase, I need to find something that I can use for amylase. I wonder if concrete powder's got a side. Let's grab red concrete. Let's find out. Tilde -1 tilde. Dang it, is it 3? That's 14. Okay, so they don't have sides, which is good. I need to be able to do it easily without sides. So let's say that red concrete is actually the product amylase. Okay, so that needs to be put here with ATP. And then that's going to give you sugar that you can then put here with, I don't have ATP synthase yet, so let's grab white concrete, throw you there, and you are ATP synthase. So we need to put you there. I still like the idea of, they've got sides again. There we go, we got pink wool we can use for sugar. Let's not call it sugar, let's call it glucose. Right, so we put you and you, and you. So ATP synthase, glucose, and ATP will then produce however much ATP it produces, right? So that's how we get ATP, that's how we get our redstone blocks. We can then, we've got to keep that running. We've got to keep this running to actually get our protein synthesis happening. So we've got ATP synthase, polymerase, amylase. And then we've got one more, which is something called ribozymes, which we would which need to come here. So that's an interesting loop. How do you start the production of ribozymes without the production of ribozymes? So is it a case of we need like over here, we need 3. So we need ribozymes, no, I think I'm going to forget ribozymes. I don't think I want them. I think that just confuses the water too much. I think it muddies the water. So ATP synthase, DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase, and amylase. All right, ATP synthase, DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase. All right, let's say, which one's ATP synthase? You just output that. The others need to be intermediate chain. So let's grab light blue concrete and dark blue concrete. So dark blue concrete is DNA. So dark blue is that. You new. So you are also the products from here. All right. I should be putting these in a chest. It would probably make life a lot easier. So products. All right, and an ATP synthase only needs to go over there. But if they're polypeptides, they then need to go over here. Right? So if we then put a chest down there, DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase in there. Oh, you also need to put out amylase. Now, is amylase something that needs further? Let's say no, so let's actually put out the product amylase here as well. Separate them. So ATP synthase and amylase, DNA polymerase and RNA polymerase. Alright, so those two need to go over there to get finalized. The red and white need to go over here to get finalized. No, they're already final, they just need to get put over here to be used. Okay. Clear as mud. So, products. Requirements. Let's get a whole heap of redstone. Rename you to ATP. Alright, so you're going to need ATP, ATP synthase, DNA polymerase and ATP, RNA polymerase and ATP, and amylase and ATP. Right, and then you'll produce 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Right. So products. All in here. Which are the requirements from here? So if we grab some of you, so this is products. Right, and then requirements are ATP. Where did I put RNA polymerase? Grab half of you and half of you. While I'm mapping all of this out, half of you and half of you need to come over here to requirements. You and you and you. I did forget the queue. Requirements, products. Okay, so over here we've got RNA requirements is ATP and RNA polymerase. And then here DNA requirements, ATP and DNA polymerase. So that just needs to be a consistent loop because that's cell growth, cell repair. So that's what we're going to call that. Production of proteins, producing mRNA, using that mRNA and energy to produce proteins and polypeptides, using those polypeptides and ATP to produce functional proteins, using those functional proteins back over there to drive cellular processes. So you have amylase and redstone. Where did I put amylase? Need to grab half of amylase and half of ATP synthase. So requirements are amylase and ATP. Products are glucose, right? ATP and ATP synthase and half of our glucose. Right. ATP, ATP synthase and glucose will then produce ATP. Okay, so what have I got left? Is that it? Only ATP. So I think I need to go for a 5-minute break. So now it's a matter of balancing the numbers, I think, and building out the path that students are going to need to take, because I don't want it to be linear. I want it to be sort of semi-open, but also difficult to traverse almost, because getting things moving around a cell relies a lot on diffusion. rather than active transport. So I don't want it to be necessarily easy. So I wonder whether throwing them in water would be a good idea. No, can't, because in this pack, water looks funny. So that's not going to work. Cobwebs? Anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 processes. They've got to keep running all the time. So the next step, and I'm going to load up another world here. So let's save that one. Next step is to work out how to tell students when things aren't working. So particularly the DNA synthesis one. Right. Welcome to the background. Replace this redstone corner to reset message. Title AP subtitle. That's what I want to work out, the title. Title AP title, the chemistry lab. So is it just that, /title? Control screen titles. Okay. So if we go back into energy transfer, right, and let's say, right, for argument's sake, I know what I want to do here. I want you so we want you /title at A title text message. Dang. Dang. Should have known. Because it's not lit up now. So how can I draw power out of that? Or I'll put you there. Nice. So there we go. So let's play with some of the other stuff. Title at A, subtitle. If I could spell subtitle. Where? Oh. Hang on a minute. Okay, so if we go /title, add a action bar, this shows up here. How much text can you put there? Quite a bit. That may help me with another issue I've got. Alright. So what if I go title DNA synthesis? Why is there no subtitle? If I run you, so there's still no subtitle. So it's a subtitle like a temporary run the command, run the title command. Because for this, that's okay, but I want, if this stops, if DNA stops, I want it to flash up multiple times. Okay, so let's try something here. For lack of a better way of doing what I want to do, I'm just going to mock it up. Interesting. But before that, I want you to be subtitle. Title at a subtitle. So set the subtitle and then that runs the title. Didn't work. Why? Because let's cheat. Don't they pass? Oh, it's not bloody that, you idiot. There's your issue. Right, so if we put you there, see, comparators only work if the command fails, and title is always going to work. So that's not going to do what I want it to do. What I want is to essentially initiate a countdown so that students have a limited amount of time to get ATP back here on the DNA slot. So once this DNA synthase ATP disappears, students have 5 to 10 seconds to get back here and throw another DNA synthase and ATP down, or game over. I don't know how to do game over yet. I have to think about that. But what I really want is a timer of some sort that will allow this to happen. So how, or what if we pick you, put you there, conditional on the one behind it. So it's facing the wrong way. No. That's what I want. Right. So that setup, if I could figure a way to run that every 10 seconds, or every second for 10 seconds now, 20 ticks per second? 20 ticks per second. I think, let's Google it. Pretty sure it's 20. 20 ticks per second. Alright, so what that means, eight, 16, total of 20 ticks. Alright, so that gives them, okay. No, that doesn't what you need that. Then that. Hey. Okay, so let's test this in theory. This is not the best way to do it, I'm well aware. So they get a second. Right. So definitely not the best way to do it, but that would do a countdown for me with a big array like that. Have to be a way to slim that down. 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, that's the theory. my brain is fried completely. That's the theory anyway. So they've got 10 seconds. Now, how do we choose the text color in a title? Because I want that to be red. So let's go back to Google. So if we wanted it red, doesn't help. Trying to ask the right question. Found to create a text generator. Title. So I don't think this works for us. Let's try it out here. Comma. That's what I thought. So how do we set the color of a title in Bedrock? Let's have a look for that. Doesn't help. I don't know that we can. Is anyone there in chat who does or doesn't know? Nope. Alright. Title, text, message. Yes, I don't think it can. I think it's going to have to be white. I was going to say, why didn't that keep going? Yeah, okay, so that's that. And we can set the same thing here for like RNA synthesis has finished, not stopped. Right, and the same for these ones. So I guess now the question becomes, if these are what we're putting in, I need to check for this and that. So in any given location, we're going to need right, so they're going to need to place ATP there and a particular mRNA there. Right? Yes. Or do we set it up so that they go ATP mRNA there? Alright, and test for that there. So as soon as it finds, it's got to find both. Because I don't want it to start the timer if they've only got ATP down. And do we want multiple ribosomes that they need to manage? Move that down a little bit. There we go. It's probably a little bit closer, a little bit better for you. So that produces 4. So I want to make them work for it. Do you know what I mean? They've got to work for it. So if I'm going, okay, so let's test this theory here. So for that, we're only testing. So we can't only test for it because the requirements is actually RNA polymerase 2. So they actually need to test for 2 things here. So I need to get that mechanic down pat first. So at the moment, and test for block there. Right. Do I need a second one in there that then tests for cyan wool? So 3. Cyan is 3. I'm going to write that down. I like that we can test that now. I like that it tells you what it finds. So if we follow that, ATP goes there, wool goes there. Okay, so if we come up here, we grab you, place you there, grab you, place you there. Right, knock you and you. Right, but in here, you are another repeat, but you're conditional. And you're Right, test for block. But you're one higher, so you need to be 5, and your wool 3. Right? And you come back. Right, and get placed there. Dang it. I lost these commands again. Yes. Dang it. Okay, so you're testing for redstone, you then test for wool. If you found redstone, you then test for wool. If you find wool, then we set you to air, don't we? And set that to air. That was the two things we did, wasn't it? Because you're the title. You're the stopping of the timer. You're the removing of the redstone block. You're doing the clone. So there are two things up there. So I actually need another one in here that also removes the enzyme. Although technically enzymes don't get removed. Technically they stay. Scientifically. So I need another one down here. Somehow. But yes, you set block. You clone. So you've got to break the chest. Right. And then the next one has got to set that one to 0. Which I'm pretty sure is 25, -13, yeah. So set block 25, -13 to air 0 replace. So now, in theory, that shouldn't have worked. And it's not. Right. That was my own silliness. Okay. So you're conditional. So if I put you down, it finds it. Only when I put an RNA polymerase above it should it trigger. So if I delete that block, will it work? Yes. So shoot. I keep hitting. The wrong. So we've got clone the chest. We've got stop the timer. So you need to be what do you need to be? Might have to go back and watch. So you two are copied. So why didn't you work? Because I did it wrong. $25, $13. $25.13 is that redstone block. I should be writing this down. Timer starter. 21.410 is the redstone block. So where are you looking for? 21.5 -10. So you should be destroying 21.5 -10 for that to work, right? So it's found that. It's done nothing else till it finds that. Hang on, that destroyed it. Now I'm really confused. So you're looking for the redstone block, you're looking for the wool. If it finds the redstone and the wool, in theory, 24 -10 is the chest, destroy it. And then you should be 25 -13. Ooh. Right? So nothing happens. Again, nothing happens because it didn't manage to destroy the chest. Okay. So now I've lost my stop case. So what needs to happen when it stops? It needs to put the timer back, put the redstone block back on the timer. It needs to clone the chest. It also needs to set block 21 for -10 to air 0 replace. Right. Except you are supposed to be there. No, you're not. Right. You need to be set block 21 5 -10 to air 0 replace. And in theory, do we need a repeater? We'll just make all the others conditional off that one and always active. So if we put you there, that cloned the block. I don't think it's going to activate that one unless I make you conditional and always active. If I copy you, place you this way, make you conditional and always active, chain. So place the wool, nothing happens. Place the redstone, it finds it but nothing else happens. When both are there, it destroys the chest, starts the timer, timer stopped. It didn't destroy the blue wool. It didn't place the redstone block. That time it did. So we've got that same issue of time lag. No. If I make you chain conditional always active, which way do you face? Chain conditional always active. Right. Now if we edit you to be chain conditional always active and then pick block you, okay, same theory. Place the wool, nothing happens. Place the redstone, break the chest, start the timer. Dang it. It says block placed. This block couldn't be placed. One block cloned, so it cloned the chest. 25. -13 should be a redstone block. choose set. Don't make the same mistake again. Nothing happened because the chest wasn't there. It's running again. You're facing the wrong way. This is hard. Yeah, you should have stopped. Yes. Need something there. See, it placed it and then knocked it again. So that ran because it could still detect that. Now it's not breaking anything. Okay. In some cases, XYZs operate in different ways. This is frustrating. Because it still detects that. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not killing the wool for a start. 21, 410. $25.13 is the timer. Clone it. 25.13 is again being redstoned. So there's two. So one of them needs to be 21.5 -10 air 0 replace. So I've done something wonky there. So if we put you there, seriously, so annoyed at myself right now. Right, that gives us those things there, right? Easy. So that's how we detect for multiple things. So if I put RNA polymerase down, nothing happens. If I put ATP down, it says, yeah, I found it. It will hide that, of course, but nothing happens back here until both are there, and then things happen. Nice. Alright, I'm actually going to take a 5-minute break, go and get something to eat. I will be back in a moment. I've had a quick eat and a quick drink. So mechanics wise, we now have a way to test when students have placed down the appropriate blocks. Okay. We have a timer system. I'm not happy about the timer system, but I don't know a better way to do it just yet. I need to think on that, because DNA synthesis, like, these are just warnings. You know, it's finished if you want to come back and get your stuff. And these will be the same. So this one will be protein synthesis or polypeptide synthesis done. Whether we go down the path of RNA polymerase synthesis done, DNA polymerase synthesis done, stuff like that, or polypeptide chain created or something like that, and then that. So how long should it take to create? If we're only using one ATP, this is where it gets tricky. If everything is one ATP, then they're not getting the idea that some things take more than others. But I suppose they get that through the time it takes for the process. So ATP will drive DNA synthesis for, say, 20 seconds, but will drive RNA synthesis for 40 seconds. And we'll produce one polypeptide or two polypeptides or whatever over a period of a minute. So let's start throwing numbers down. So it's going to be hard to do numbers without actually laying out where we want things to be. I think I want to change from cobblestone to, I think I want to change to a concrete. Let's go with black. ATP synthase mRNA. Instead of that. So you will have that instead. And ATP synthase is produced over here. No, mRNA is over here. Yep, okay. That makes me feel better. So now I need to note down what's what and do some texture work. So black concrete, let's write these down. ATP synthase. Cyan wool is DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase mRNA. Yep, green wool is RNA polymerase mRNA. And then red wool is amylase mRNA. Okay. Redstone is ATP. Rid of you. You no longer exist. So that's those lot. So white concrete is ATP synthase, the protein. Red concrete is amylase, the protein. Dark, so that's blue concrete, is DNA polymerase polypeptide. It's a mouthful. And light blue concrete is RNA polymerase polypeptide. Okay, that's the same. And then we go over here to blue wool. Is DNA polymerase the protein. Light blue wool is RNA polymerase the protein. Over here is amylase. Pink wool is glucose. ATP synthase we've got, white concrete, ATP synthase, glucose, and ATP, and that pretty much is all of it. Okay. So let's just save that. Let's go and have a bit of a play in Texture World for a little while. Should have cleaned up that. Let's throw all of you over here. Okay. I need you. I need you. Is the vanilla pack open somewhere? I don't think it is. Listen to the plane flying in again. So items. Oh, I suppose I'm not doing items, I'm just doing blocks. So let's go to blocks instead. Hang on, now I'm confused. Textures. Blocks. Okay, so in here. So that's the original. It's just got everything in it still. It does. Where's my cut down one? Where's the proper one? That's better. This is the nicer one. Okay. So we've got the blocks we've actually changed only in here. I'm going to mess around with the sound too, I reckon. Now, I think my head is now in the way, so let's throw it down here, out of the way. So let's go to Redstone block. So let's grab Redstone block. Copy. Why won't you let me copy? That's interesting. Oh, because they're both compressed folders, you idiot. copy from one to the other, but so you can go from here to here. Alright, so redstone block needs to be done. Concrete. Concrete black, concrete blue, concrete light blue. So redstone's done. Concrete black, concrete white. Concrete red. Concrete blue and light blue. Done. So that's that. Now we go to wools. That's cloth in here, isn't it? So cloth. Nope, it is wool. Yep. So we need cyan, green, and red. Cyan, green, red. Cyan, green, red. Blue, light blue, and pink. Blue, light blue, and pink. Okay. So now we've got all the ones we need to edit. So redstone. Which Windows pane can open on this side? Good. Alright, so this is ATP. And there goes the bin truck. Alright, so we could go really quite interesting here. I'm looking at Google to see what we can do. And I was more thinking something like this. So energy, ATP, or the A and the 3 Ps is what I was leaning towards. But first, delete the text already there. I reckon let's just make it completely black. So what if we then put a filled shape of a circle and ellipse. Yep. Right. And then inside that, in black, we put a nope. Needs to be a little bit smaller than that. Can I go smaller? Yep. So what if we went size 6? I'll stop hitting Control A, Stephen. Gee whiz. A. That'll do. Right. Now I want blue circles. Done. But I want you shifted down one and across one. And now we will fill you in black. Okay, and now we need, I reckon we might get away with 5 here, and we'll go with black. P. problem with little pixels. Let's just do 1. Do the same here, up 3, across 1, back 1, and then we'll test what it looks like. We can drop a U, pencil U in there and there. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Looks like ATP to me. Okay, so save the redstone block. So now let's just try and get everything back to where it should be. Okay, so that's ATP. Let's just see what it looks like in game. Let's see if it loads it straight away. No, gotta reload the pack. See what it does now. No. Interesting. Let's quit the whole thing and try again, because that should have worked, I would have thought. Do. Always loads on the other screen. So does some other things. I can't work out how to stop it. That's not bad, actually. I'm not unhappy with that. We decided this was not how it was going to go. Probably don't need to fill this in reality. Right, so there's our ATP blocks. So ATP and RNA polymerase. Okay, so that is working as we would expect. And that's actually not too bad. I don't mind that texture. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. Okay, so let's, if we have to exit each time, let's do a few more before we go back. So in here, textures, blocks, concrete black. Open with Is that literally just flat black? Interesting. Oh no, there is actual texture there. So concrete black is ATP synthase mRNA. So let's get our ATP synthase. Let's go with the mRNA. Let's just go with mRNA. We'll go back to ATP synthase. So mRNA, realistically, I want A, U, G, and C on it so that they know that it's, yeah. Okay, so let's make mRNA. Let's select this, delete U. Let's make mRNA, what color? Let's go with a red. Right, and then on there in black. So this needs to be ATP, so we need 6 ATP. Okay, so we obviously need to work on that, and then do we just go mRNA? Alright, so there's ATP. U, A, C, and G won't really fit unless, let's grab U. Move you down to the center. And then I drop a U, fill U. Get my pencil. I've been using the paintbrush, that's why. Let's go with blue. Right, let's brush. Now I understand why it's been weird. Right, U. And then in yellow, let's do AUCG. So let's do C. Paintbrush, eyedropper U. C. Now we need an A. Let's put A as green. It's not bad. And then orange, pink, pink, purple, purple, pink, somewhere around there. And you'll be G. And now we get our paintbrush and our eyedropper. Undo that last one. That's not bad. I feel like You need to move across a pixel. So do you. I feel like I need to paintbrush you. And then we need to fill you, you. Save that. So ATP mRNA. Okay. So now comes the trick. Copy you. Because all of the other ones, so cyan wool is DNA polymerase. So cyan wool, let's go with wool coloured cyan. Now this is text size 6. You are DNA. Right. I think I need to go back to the pencil. So let's get it says DNA, pretty close. That's a bit better. So DNA, RNA. Okay. The other RNA is green wool, wool coloured green. Delete you. Fill you red, text, size 6, around about here, RNA. Black. Done. Get the pencil. That's pretty cool. Okay, I might come back and change the colors of these later. So that's RNA, RNA. And then we've got amylase, RNA, which is red wool. we grab and we eyedrop fill. We go amil, AMY. It's not bad. It's in the wrong spot. Even more in the wrong spot. That's it. Amy. Yep, that's pretty clear. Okay. So that's all the RNA done. Okay. So ATP synth, so that's that, and that. So ATP synthase, we had a nice ATP synthase again. I like that one. I like the idea of that keyhole type shape, because that's what it actually is. All right. You know, so this is the kind of structure I want it to have, at least on the image itself. You know, something like, I wonder if I could do that. Couple of balloons, couple of ellipses overlaid on each other, and a star with a blob in between. Let's give that a try. Let's put you on half. Grab you for now. ATP synthase is concrete white. Okay. So let's actually make you completely white. Methinks. Now let's try sort of a reddish colour of an ellipse. Filled shape, solid colour. So we have one there. One there. Alright, now let's flick you around. Flick you around to a blue. And we put one there. And one there. And also one up the back. And then we eyedrop a U. Go back to that. Start you around about there. That's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. All right. And then they've got a undo. Yep. Enter on you. They've got a bright green glob. Let's just wing that one. So that just comes. Something like that. And then we have grey things here in like a spirally type thing. So if we go down, 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 like that, and then we go darker. Like that. It's not centered. I don't think there's any way I can center it. Okay. Let's call that a starting point. So that's ATP synthase done. What does amylase the protein look like? What's that taken me to? I just want a picture. Oh, that's just a basic gene transcription one. See, that's it there. Come on, we can convert that to a Minecraft texture. Easy. No? Alright, let's get out of concrete white. Amylase is red concrete. Okay. Let's grab the lot, delete it, fill it white. How are we going to recreate that one? Let's go with red, squiggles, go to orange, squiggles, go to yellow, squiggles, go to light green, squiggles, go to darker green, squiggles, the light blue squiggles are all the way out here, a little bit darker squiggles up through here, and then really dark squiggles in through here, and a bit more of an orange up through here. How do we do? It's not bad. Quite like it. So that's amylase done. So now what we want, let's start with DNA polymerase. It's that funny shape. So that's going to be the shape of my final one, or this one. But I want this to be like, how can I explain this? What have I got to open anyway? Blue concrete. This needs to be an incomplete one. So this can't look like the finished product. It's got to look like halfway to the finished product, if you know what I mean. So I want it to be like polypeptide chains. Like this sort of thing here, that this is just a sequence of amino acids. It's not actually formed into a protein yet. I want to try and visualize that, for lack of a better way of doing it. So whether it's something like, you know, we can't have the words and everything there, but a series of squiggly circles with letters designating them as different polypeptides, maybe, is sort of where I'm thinking. So if we come back to here and we grab U, circle, I want filled shape. So if we just have like a circle and then a yellow circle and then a light blue circle, you get what I'm going with here? So something like this is sort of what I was thinking. I like that last one. And then something like that. That's not too bad. It needs to be centered. It sort of gets the visual that I wanted. Start from that pixel, go to that pixel. Now let's try and even it out. There's going to be no way to even it out. What are you doing? Is there? I think I like that better. Okay, so that's DNA polymerase polypeptide. So now if we have a look at doing that and recoloring it, so if we just go, copy all of you, get out of you, so that's DNA polymerase polypeptide, light blue concrete. Is that the mic making those noises, or is it my earphones? Anyway, we're going to paste you in, and then I kind of want to something not quite like that. Sort of just mess with the, yeah, that's sort of what I want to do. That's the sort of deal I want. So hue and saturation is really the hue that I wanted to. Okay. So are they different enough? I think so. I think that's pretty clear. They're the same sort of molecule, but they're different. Okay. So that's that one done. So now we need the actual DNA polymerase, which is blue wool coloured blue. Which was that funny... Oh, that's an interesting one. I reckon we could recreate that, or at least a close approximation. Okay, so let's go with you. I'll just, oh, undo that. Let's grab the paintbrush. Let's do a light blue goop like that, and then we head into the cyans and come down here like that, and then we head into the greens and come into the middle, head into the darker greens and sort of blob out this way and that way, head into a bit of a lighter green up through here, sort of blob through here, and head over to the yellows and come through here, yellow, orange, a little orange blob there, and then red, through there. I reckon that's okay. Again, I can always revisit the textures later if they look horrible in world. We'll just get them all in first. Okay. So that's DNA polymerase done. Now we need RNA polymerase, which is of course light blue wool. Okay. I like that. I like that. So let's go with yellow. We've got our paintbrush happening, so we're going do. A little bit down through here. We go light blue. Down through here. And we want green glob here, a reddish glob down here, and a greyish glob here. Hey. Is that better? That's a bit better. Less wishy-washy in the middle there. Okay, so that's RNA polymerase done. And now glucose. Glucose is fairly, what I want to do with it, it's fairly straightforward. I think, actually now that I think about it, if we bring this up, it's not there, where is it? Textures, items. Did I already alter some of these? I thought I had. Apparently not. Because I did work on it. I thought. But obviously don't have that texture pack still. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, glucose is relatively easy. Now that's... What's wool coloured lime? Oh, that's I don't need to change that. Pink wool. Okay. Now this is glucose, which really I just want to do the ring structure. So if we set it on a white background, let's paint it. Go across, down, across, down, back, across, down, down, across. It's kind of a boring texture. Certainly less wishy-washy. I don't like it. Don't like it. So let's do it a bit more methodical. I think it'd be good to put C6H12O6 on there as well. So if we then grab you, move you up, fill you in white, can we yes, it doesn't really work. If I wanted to do 6 at the absolute minimum, it's really that. And if we change to green, I just don't think that's cutting it. And then O goes there and 6. Because that just doesn't look like. And there's no more pixels to work with, if you know what I mean. So I don't think that's going to do what I want it to do. I'll do that, that's fine. recenter this and call it there, and I'll have a think about it. I drop you, pencil you, maybe paint you, pencil you, like that. That make it look more like an O, a little bit. Alright, so let's just save that. Okay. Okay. Delete you back here.